What's up guys, welcome to another video, and before we get started, I may or may not do some polls on Kingdom Hearts depending on how the banner looks and the information. And I know a lot of people want me to do Kingdom Hearts banner polls, so if you do want to see those, make sure to follow me down below in my Twitch channel. Go to my Twitch channel, the link will be down below, please sure to follow me, and things like that. If you want to donate to my PayPal to get more pulls out of me, you can do that as well. I don't ask that very often. I've never asked that. I'm just throwing that out there in case you want to see some even more Kingdom Hearts pros, you want to see more Salt. Make sure to follow me, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into my review. We got Sora first, and the STMR honestly is probably one of the better ones. In terms of ranking, I'm going to rank this second best. Second best STMR. You might be thinking, how could anything be better than this? I'll show you later in the video. Anyways, 75% limit burst damage is really crazy, and he would like that because he is a limit burst damage dealer, and he can chain normally too. He has a lot of strong modifiers normally as well. Just keep in mind that he's mainly a limit burst damage dealer from what I've seen and what I saw from the wiki. I looked into his kit, and he is light focused, but some of his normal chaining is not light, so you could do that. But his limit burst is light elements, so you're basically stuck to light. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You never know. So, also let me know if the microphone sounds better or worse, because I adjusted some more settings. I'm tweaking things here and there, and I guess you guys are going to be the guinea pigs, because you guys are the viewers, XD. Anyways, let's move on. He does have 6 times cap on both forms, 100%, 150% Voodoo Wield, and 200% with his TMR, which surprisingly, because in the stream they only gave away that he has 100% TDH on his TMR, which makes no sense, because it is one-handed, but it has a 50% Voodoo Wield on his TMR. Remember, it's only for himself though, so it's not that OP. It's only for him. He has AMOE chaining frames, and from what I've established now, his normal form is really just preparations for his Brave Shift form and his Limit Burst and his Brave Shift form. And from what I've witnessed here, not witnessed, but like looked at, his Limit Burst and his normal form is not really worth it because his modifiers only last for 4 turns. And you got a lot of other stuff to be doing. You want to save the Limit Burst for when you go into his Brave Shift form, so I would not even worry about his Limit Burst in his normal form. You know, even though it gives modifiers, it's not permanent. He has a cooldown that does give permanent buffs, permanent modifier buffs. So you just want to do that instead. And yeah, like I said, his normal form is just preparation for his Brave Shift form, which is much better. Not to say that his normal form is bad. I'm just saying that his Brave Shift form is better. And he has Fair Killer normal form, which is fine. You might want to stay in that if you're fighting a spirit enemy. And Human Killer in his Brave Shift form, which is quite nice, actually, very nice. Yeah, the unfortunate thing up here, which is not really a con, it's just I wish that they were the same. He has 50% evasion in his normal form and 30% evasion in his Brave Shift form. So where'd the 20% go? Where'd that 20% go? I don't know. It's out the door. Who knows? I don't know where it went, but unfortunately, it would have been really interesting if we could make him into like an evasion, like a proper like evasion DPS, because there really isn't that many. There really aren't that many, and it would have been nice to make him to evasion and had a lot of killers, and that would be that's like a whale build though, having him 100% evasion, but also being able to have limit burst damage in there and killers and attack. That's like a whale build. Even for a whale, I think that'd be kind of hard to do, but it's possible. I think it'd be easier on global though, because there's a lot more evasion stuff. On the JB side, there's not very much evasion stuff really, so it might be way easier on the global side. I'm sure you guys are already typing down in the comments. It's gonna be a lot easier on the global side, and I agree with you. So that's really it for the pros. Unfortunately, there's a few cons. Like we mentioned, his limit burst is light damage, so he's really stuck to light. But like we mentioned, yeah, he does have normal chain, so you could just make him, like if you want to use him for dark visions, you could just imbue him with something else, or give him a dark weapon, or give him some other kind of weapon. And you just don't use his light moves. But he's really focused on light. He has a lot of MP issues. I'm assuming he's going to be having a lot of MP issues because a lot of his moves are a little expensive. And the last thing is not really a con, it's just kind of weird. There's nowhere else I could put it. He has magic passives in his kit, but he does not have any hybrid moves as far as I can see. He has no hybrid moves whatsoever, so there really is no point in having magic passives. And it's not just one. He has two magic passives. I don't get it. This must be like some lore thing where he has magic in the actual game he comes from, and they just wanted to put that in there just for filler, I guess. I don't get it. So this turn rotation's kind of a mess. His turn, like the imbues and the imperials don't really line up that easily. It's not really that flexible, so you guys will have to adjust this rotation. This is a general knowledge rotation from what I gathered here. This is all that I've made up, by the way. This is not anyone. I haven't looked at any spreadsheets. I've not talked to anybody. This is all my own rotation. Something that I would probably do, depending. Light imperials are kind of iffy, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So what should I give him? It really depends. Like, is his limit burst going to be hitting really that hard? I don't know. He has a lot of limit burst damage, and also active and passively in his kit. So I don't know how hard his limit burst is going to hit in his Brave Shift form. I really don't know. I will be giving him an 8 out of 10 though, because I think that he's really strong. The knockback is that he's just light focused. Really, he has no flexibility on his limit burst because his limit burst is element locked. So you have no variation on that, unfortunately. If it was non-elemental, it'd be a lot better. You could be so much more flexible with that. It'd be great. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It lowers the score a little bit, but it's 8 out of 10 is a very high score. Remember, guys, from my scale, if you're new to the channel, 7 out of 10 for me is average. 8 out of 10 is a lot higher than average. So, yeah. But if you just look at it, if you take your nostalgia glasses off, you can just see that he's just a normal DPS with some human killer and fairy killer and things. Pretty interesting, but not the best thing in the world. Just 8 out of 10 is good though. 8 out of 10 is good. And let's move on to our next entry here. We've got Riku, and Riku is a breaker DPS that is dark focused. So unfortunately, you'll not be able to interact very well with Sora, because both of them are locked to their element. So if you were thinking of, hey, I could have Sora and Riku in the same team and have them interact and be able to chain together and stuff. Nope. That is not really going to happen unless you just don't use their limit bursts or their imbues, and that's kind of just you might as well just not do it. I don't know. They really can't work on the same. This is a very good comparison to where basically Ball and Seifer couldn't be in the same team because they have different chaining families. This is very similar to where they have different elements and they're locked to those elements. Sora's locked to light, Riku's locked to dark. You can't do it. It just can't do it because unlike Vaughn, where his element burst is non-elemental, which is really nice, Riku's is dark element focused and his element burst for the 85% break. So unfortunately, I hate to break it to you guys, whoever wanted to say, oh, I wanted to put them together. It just wouldn't work. You'd have to just have fun around with them or something, not go to an actual hard trial. Because if you do that in an actual hard trial, you're just handicapping yourself. Don't do that. So luckily enough, he does have I guess not really called the protagonist passive anymore because a lot of other units have had it. But he does have the turn 1 limit burst filled up very nicely. Very nice. He does have 130% Dark Imperil on a 2-turn cooldown, so that's basically on demand. 130% Imperil, which is pretty nice. I gotta say, that's probably one of the nicest things about this unit so far. He does have 80% full break on demand, so you can just use it whenever you want. And it also has a pretty high mod as well. And he also has 85% limit burst, 85% full break on his limit burst, which is also pretty nice. He has a 6x cap, human killer in his normal form, and fairy killer in his brave shift form. So it's basically flip-flopped from Sora, where Sora is fairy and human and stuff like that. So he does have the break dodge ability, which is actually really good. that he has that. So your breaker could be doing that for you while if the boss is already broken or stuff like that, you could just be doing that in your spare time, doing that. So I think that's pretty nice. Of course, like I mentioned, he's dark focused, and he also has a little burst damage actively, and I think he has some passives as well. And of course, as everything has to have a drawback. So for some reason, he only has 100% true to will, but here is the catch. You have his STMR, you get that 200%. See that? And his Limp versus Dark Element, like we mentioned, which could be good, could be bad. It depends. And his Brave Shift form, which could be good or bad, depending. But I think this is the same situation where Sora and the breaks don't really add up to give you a whole lot of time. There's just not a lot of time, guys. His break durations, and it's a big risk if you go into his Brave Shift form and the boss dispels himself, or the break is like you're all set up. You're like, hey, I want to go back and I want to go into his Brave Shift form now for DPS. And there's only one return on the breaks. And I was like, oh man, I gotta be back. I can't do that. I gotta break him again. So it's a bit of a problem with that. I wish the breaks last a little bit longer. They do not. So it's a bit of a flaw with what they want him to be. Where the idea is like you break him, you set yourself up, and then you switch over to his Brave Shift form and you chain with your DPS, your main DPS. And it's just a little bit of flaw with that. And one of the weirder things I think is just not really a big con. It's just kind of weird again. I guess that's two weird things in this con area. I don't know where else to put it. He only has Dark Absorb in his Brave Shift form, so I guess that's like a incentive to go into it if you really want to. But in terms of ranking, I can only go 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. Still a really good score. I think the only thing that's holding him back from getting a higher score is that his breaks don't last a whole lot of time. Now you could say, hey, his Limp Burst breaks last one more turn than Vaughn's. Okay, cool. That's good. But his on-demand ones don't last nearly as long as Vaughn's, which is the biggest hurtful thing, unfortunately. And I'm gonna stop for JP reviews. I'm gonna stop mentioning that they have triple cast, because all Neovision units at this point have had triple cast permanently. I'm gonna stop mentioning that, just so you guys know ahead of time. All Neovision units have triple cast permanently, so there's that. And there was something else I was gonna mention, but oh yeah, his STMR. His STMR is probably the third. It's in third, and you'll see why. Okay, so Sora's was second. This is third. What's the first? Obviously, the third unit that we're reviewing, which is Kiari, whatever. And the STMR is absolutely phenomenal. It's insane. Attack and Spirit, 70%. This is materia. 70% attack and Spirit, 7% MP refresh, 7 versus class per turn. Okay, what's with this? She's like a luck-based unit or something. There's a lot of 7s in here. That has got to be on purpose. Lore reasons or something. Once again, guys, I have no knowledge on this game. I don't know anything about this game other than what people tell me. And also 70% dark resistance. That is really high. So this STMR is juicy. Really juicy. I'd love to have it. So she's a healer DPS, 200% TDH, which is very standard. Light focused, and she has some weird move that you should just completely pretend that it doesn't exist. She has some weird move where she has like a fire finishing move that's her spirit based. No, just no. Anyways, she's mod building reliant, because she has some moves that give her cooldowns, or like not give her mod abilities based on that. Sorry, and her Limp Burst also gives her some mod boost and things like that. And her normal form has some healing, but her Brave Shift form is definitely where it's at, because it has a lot more healing capabilities and things like that. And pretty cool thing is that she has in her Brave Shift form, she has healing and also regen in the same exact move. So unlike other healers where they just have a regen move and then you have to heal on top of that with some other move, she has healing, a massive burst healing, and also regen on the same move, which is pretty good. 25% light damage boost on a Magnus ability, so that's pretty. And what I mean by that, all light damage will be boosted. Blunt burst, physical, magical, any kind of light damage will be boosted by 25%. And she can also be a lone burst damage alert with her passives and active boost from lone burst. In her BS form, that is. Her normal form is really only used to get her mod boost. So, at first I thought that this was a pretty amazing unit. However, looking into this again, there are lots of problems. A lot of problems. So, the biggest flaw that you can clearly see, you don't need my opinion from this, you don't need to read one up, you don't need to read all this, you can just look at the wiki page yourself and determine she's a healer, but she's also DPS, but she's doing physical damage, not spirit scaling. What does that mean? Now you gotta build her as an attack-based unit, DDH, but you want spirit to heal. So there's a tug of war with stats going on there, and it's kind of hard to build for a new player or even an intermediate. Build her as a spirit, and also attack pairing. It's kind of hard to do, which her S teamer obviously would help with that. But it'd be a little hard to build her as intended, where she's supposed to have a lot of spirit and a lot of attack. So there's that. Her normal form is just really bad, mediocre in terms of healing. Her very shit form is better, but it's not saying much because she has no raise, no re-raise on either forms. She has almost no healing capabilities besides like a few here and there, and has no magic whatsoever, absolutely zero magic. So she has no way of just raising someone if they get KO'd. She has absolutely no way of doing that other than on cooldowns. All of her raising and re-raising are on cooldowns, and once you use them, now what? Right? So I just don't know how you're supposed to replace her for a normal healer. Don't get it. I don't get it. So you could be like a side healer DPS, really. You could be like your side healer DPS if you have room for that. You could slot her in as being like a healer. Like you could like double heal it up with Aerith and her, or some other healers that you may have. Her, something like that. I just don't think you could do this in a setting. I don't think you could bring her as a healer slot. Like she has a healing role. I just don't think it's possible. No magic, no re-raise, no raise. Like no raise is a red flag for me. Some people have told me in the past, like saying like, okay, no re-raise is fine, but no raise, that is a problem for me. And you can say whatever you want, but no raise on a healer that's just asking to lose. Like what if your tank gets KO'd, or someone gets KO'd? Like what if one of your DPS gets KO'd? Now you gotta use the cooldown, and it's gonna be a long cooldown. Sure, I didn't look at the cooldown turns, but usually these kind of cooldowns take a bit of time. I don't know what to say about that, really. And so, in terms of rating her, this one's a bit of a tough one because she's very strong as a damage dealer. Just mediocre as a healer, but she's intended to be both. But they just didn't try hard enough, I don't think. I don't think they tried hard enough to make her into the healing role. They mainly focus on her attack role. I think it's like, okay, here's a very simple way of saying it. Kiari is basically 75% DPS, 25% healing. That's a very good, I think that's a very good comparison here. Pretty much all of her kit is DPS. There's a little bit of healing here and there. There's no magic, like I said. But it's just, I think I'm just gonna have to go 8 out of 10. Only because she could be unique as a side healing DPS role, but it's just like, So, all in all of them are rated pretty over average. I would say none of them got 7s. So, overall, they're all pretty good. It all depends on the banner. And now, there were some banner assets that I saw that all 3 of them have their separate banner. But now we need to know if they're guaranteed only them, or other New Vision banners, New Vision units in the banner or not. It depends. So again, please leave a like on the video if you like Kingdom Hearts, or if I talk bad about your favorite unit, you can leave a dislike if you want. This is my opinion. Like I said, I'm not apologizing anymore for my opinion. People have told me that I shouldn't apologize for my opinion. But I won't. You can be angry in the comments if you want to be. Oh my god, this is a long video. Goodness. Okay, we're gonna be getting out here. Make sure to leave a like on the video, give a like, dislike. The keyword for the ending of this video will be hashtag KH for obvious reasons. Hashtag KH will be the keyword for the ending of this video. Make sure to follow my Twitch channel if you want to see some live pulls. I think I will do some, I don't know. I will announce that in my community tab and also announce that in my Discord, things like that. So make sure to also go to join my Discord as well. There'll be a link in the link down below. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about all these units, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.